Hello again, folks. We're going to be doing Tyrell 1 today in this video. The Tyrell book was probably my favorite book, especially undergrad. Our teacher had me work out of these a lot. And I always just found them really enjoyable. I thought there was a good balance of technique and musicianship in them. And that's not to say other books weren't that way. Obviously, Blazevich is a big one as well. But I always enjoyed this one. I thought it was a good blend of technique and musicality. So with Tyrell 1, I think if you really want to challenge yourself, I think doing a harmonic analysis of this can be very beneficial, especially if you're not the strongest at theory. It's a great way to try to hear these changes in your head as you're going through your individual practicing. And if you are good at theory, it's a great way just to incorporate what you do in the classroom as with what you do in the practice room. I know for me, to be able to kind of hear the changes in my head and understanding what they are, it makes a really big difference with the accuracy. Obviously, that is a big point of what we want to focus on, just being extremely accurate. No chips, no overshoots, undershoots. That's always going to be the goal with these. From there, we talk a lot about fronts of the notes with the consonants, obviously a D or a T syllable. For me, I like to think ta with these. If you do da, I don't think there's any reason that's bad. I did ta, and that's just the way I've always done it. But we don't always focus on the vowel portion, especially the follow through. And if we're going to make a parallel between others, athletics, whether you're throwing a ball, catching a ball, swinging a club, a stick, whatever the case may be. A lot of times you talk about the follow-through of that, whether it be a shot or a swing, whatever the case may be, and how many times the follow-through is just as, if not more important than the initiation of motion. And I think the same thing can be kind of said here. It's the follow-through of the vowel when we talk consonants that I think really helps with the resonance of our sound. If we're thinking big, open, o syllables, we're going to get that sound that really reverberates throughout. And I think especially with etudes like Tyrell 1, we tend to focus on the space between the notes, which is important, but we're so focused on that space between the notes that we don't always get the resonance that we want, in this case, in the quarter notes. So I think if you really focus on the vowel, especially the follow-through, ta 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 ta. Probably should have picked a better octave to sing that in, but you get the point. If we really focus on the vowel portion, if we really focus on that follow-through, we're going to get that resonance of sound that we want. And especially when we think about that both in our solo and ensemble playing, that's really what we want to go for. So I think that's a big thing to focus on with this. From there, just finding moments to be musical. Obviously, you got mezzo forte at the beginning, and it just kind of stays that way the whole time. I've said before, and I don't think I have on the videos yet, but with my students that it's okay to have some interpretations and go off what is written on the page, or not go off, but do something different than what's on the page. Because if I literally just play this mezzo forte the whole time, you as a listener are going to be very bored. Me as a player, I'm going to be very, very bored. So find these moments to just have maybe times where we play out just a little bit and back away some. And then from there, don't be afraid to push and pull with a little bit of tempo at the ends of some of these phrases, especially towards the end. You've got the poco rallentando that leads into the fermata, as well as the ritardando at the end. Don't be afraid to really make the most out of that and exaggerate that, because again, we're just gonna bump, 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 bump the entire time, and that really just that little bit of change and alteration really can make a really big musical impact. So those are my thoughts on Tyrell 1, and here it is. Hope you enjoy. And there you have it. Happy practicing.